Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you today. I'm Arthur, the CEO of Pennylane. I'm going to tell you a bit more about Pennylane and hopefully convince you that it's the best fintech company in Europe. So Pennylane was launched about 2 years ago. It came from the idea when talking to entrepreneurs around us, they were telling us that they were struggling with accounting and financial management. And so I've been talking to many SMEs, and every time I had the same feedback. I love my accountant, but I don't have the right tools to collaborate with him or her. And I'm lacking access to my financial data. And pretty quickly, what we realized was that the real problem is that there's no single source of truth of financial data for SMEs in Europe. Most of the time, their accountant is using a legacy software that is still mainly on premise, doesn't have APIs, and is only used by the accountant. And on the other side, you have the SME that uses a bunch of different tools, one for invoicing, maybe a POS, maybe they have something for their expense management, or they just have a shoebox or their email. They might have some financial data in Excel, or they might have a proper tool for cash management, but all those tools are not connected to each other. And so you have lots of siloed data and lots of work being done twice, lots of time that is being lost. And most important, nobody has access to the real-time financial data of the company and can make the right decisions. And so what we want to solve fundamentally with Pennylane is, build that single source of truth of financial data. Once you've said this, there are two options. The first one is, okay, I'm going to build the financial all-in-one software for SMEs and try to connect it with the accounting software. But as I said, there is no API on that side. So we realized the only way to really solve the problem we want to solve is to rebuild the entire stack. So both the financial management software of the SME, as well as the accounting software of the accountant. We realized pretty quickly that some people have solved exactly that problem in other geos, namely Intuit with QuickBooks in the US, Xero starting in New Zealand. Both of them are fighting in the UK. But if you look at continental Europe, there's absolutely nobody. In every country, you are left with a legacy player born in the early 80s, Cegid in France, Sage in many countries, Exact in the Benelux, Sage also in Spain and Portugal. You have, Datev in Germany. And what we want is to really, disrupt a bit that market to make sure everyone has access to data. We started as an accounting firm about 2 years ago to validate that there was real demand from SMEs, as well as iterate on the product for accountants, because you cannot really go and give MVP to accountants. We validated this last year, and since the beginning of 2021, we've now have more than 100 accounting firms actually starting to adopt Pennylane to do the bookkeeping of their customers, and they actually pitch Pennylane to their customers. It's the only way for us to reach huge market share. You need to know that QuickBooks has 80% market share in the US, Xero 90% in New Zealand, and it's actually a winner-takes-all market. But you can only take all the market if you have your interests aligned with accounting firms, and they are actually the one presenting your product to their customers. So we see accounting firms as our partners, and together we want to equip SMEs, all SMEs in Europe, with a great financial management software. All this being said, once you are that single source of truth of financial data, we also call it like the financial operating system of the SME, and you own the attention of the SME as well as the attention of the accountants, it's a pretty natural place to come and build the marketplace for all kinds of financial service, really embracing the concept of embedded finance within the software. So we think there is no better place for SME to buy a credit than the place where they actually manage their cash. We think there is no better way for SMEs to use some factoring than the place where they actually invoice their customers, et cetera, et cetera. So that's really the plan we have in mind with Pennylane. And the great thing is that on top of being the right place, the SMEs will have their accountants being able to advise them which financial product is the right fit for them and which one they should use. I hope you are all convinced now that Pennylane will, hugely help SMEs in Europe as well as their accountants and make them all enter into the 21st century for good.